White House registers new alien-related .gov domains as DoD tackles Trump's disclosure directive. Breaking news, this just in. White House spokeswoman Anna Kelly told Defense Scoop in an email to, quote, stay tuned, and included an alien emoji when asked about this. And I checked into it. It's true. It checks out. The White House registered two new government domains this week, Alien.gov and Aliens.gov, according to publicly available federal records. Their appearance comes about 1 month after President Donald Trump announced plans to direct the long-anticipated release of U.S. government records about unidentified anomalous phenomena and extraterrestrial beings. Those new domains were not connected to websites as of Wednesday morning, but public data managed by the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency reveals that both sites were registered Tuesday evening and are hosted on Cloudflare servers. Shortly after Trump's disclosure order in February, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the Pentagon was keen to comply and had started actively working on the initiative. And then they talk a little bit about Arrow. Pentagon spokespeople did not respond to questions from Defense Scoop Wednesday regarding the registration of the new .gov domains, the content they will support, or whether this marks a change in the government's plans for UAP reporting options. Shortly after the initial publication of this article, White House spokeswoman Anna Kelly told Defense Scoop in an emailed response to those questions to stay tuned. Her statement included the same alien emoji that Hegseth used on social media when he reposted Trump's promise last month to publish previously undisclosed records about extraterrestrials and unidentified craft. Notably, both domains were launched while CISA is not accepting new .gov domains requests due to a lapse in federal funding, which is just par for the course. That's kind of hilarious. And sure enough, I looked it up. Here it is. Who is domain lookup? Who is alien.gov? Contact information, registrar, get.gov. Organization, CISA. Security. And then it has all of the different headings here. Security, technical, registrant. Name of the person listed for security, redacted for privacy. Address, redacted. Phone, redacted. Email, redacted. Technical, same thing. Registrant, same thing. All redacted. Registered on March 17th. And today, as I record this, is March 19th. So this just happened. Super weird. We have crossed the Rubicon, people. I'm telling you. 10 years ago, you would be called insane for describing, even if you described it in accurate terms, where we are today. They would have thought you were crazy. There's no way people 10 years ago would have ever been able to imagine that we would be sitting here today in 2026 and we would be talking about the federal government registering alien.gov and aliens.gov. The president saying he's going to disclose, coming just a few days after the former president said aliens are real, and a former presidential candidate, Hillary Clinton, in her deposition for the Epstein files, was asked directly about disclosure, UFOs, Gilgamesh for some weird reason, and she didn't even blink. It's weird. If you go back and watch that clip where they ask her about this, she actually sits there for about 4 or 5 minutes and has a serious conversation with, I think it's Eric Burleson, Anna Paulina Luna's in the room. You can tell a few people, and they're talking about disclosure casually. So we have entered a new era. There's no question. It's real now. It's real in a way that we could have only imagined it becoming real just a few short years ago. And not only has it become real, it is real and growing. The number of people who are focused on this topic, despite all of the chaos and craziness and the shit show of the economy and everything else that's going on right now in the world, which is a lot, people are still very focused on this. Look at the view counts for every podcast that has a UFO expert on. They're in the millions, millions. It's one of the most popular subjects to talk about. The whole podcast circuit, everybody on late night television, everybody on every podcast, this is all they want to talk about is aliens constantly. It feels like we're building up to something big, and I think it might just be right around the corner. We have this, the Spielberg film Disclosure Day coming out very soon. This could be the year. This could be the year. And you guys will be able to say, you knew about it first. You were here first. This is like discovering the coolest band and knowing about them before all of your friends. It's about finding a really cool movie. It's like finding a cool movie, and you know people are going to be blown away when they see it, and you know about it first. That's where you are right now. You are here, okay? Ahead of the curve. And I think that's, as a matter of fact, I have this, I'll show it to you in just a minute. I have this thing here that that I wear from time to time. It's this really cool UFO necklace that a friend of mine made. And when people ask me if I'm into UFOs, I'm like, you can just reach into your shirt and pull this out. I'm like, dude, I'm not just into UFOs. I wear this. That's how into UFOs I am. Yeah, it's like that. By the way, and by the way, if you guys want to get one of these, you can go to, my friend makes these. You can go to Earthen Objects Jewelry. And this one's called the Welcome Aboard Pendant. It's awesome. This one is phenomenal. The TR3B one, Gerb has this. Actually, I had one. I gave it to Gerb, and this one, look at that thing, dude. I gave one of these to Ryan Graves in person. I met Ryan briefly at the It's Probably Nothing tour with Jesse Michaels and Chris Ramsey, and I was having a beer in the lobby, and I was talking to him for about 10 minutes, and we were just chit-chatting, and I had this in my pocket, and I brought it out and gave it to him, and he flipped out. He geeked out so hard. It was so cool. I felt like a superhero. I made his day. But this is all of this stuff is put together by my friend Mitch, who makes these by hand. He has a very meticulous process that he goes through to make these. They take a long time to make, and the detail is extraordinary. So if you guys are interested, I would highly recommend them. I love mine. I wear it everywhere. And when people ask, they're like, "Are you into UFOs?" I'm like, "Dude, am I? Watch this. Pull out my kick-ass UFO pendant. It's heavy too." So, yeah, disclosure, guys. How does this happen? How does this roll out? I've heard a few different rumors. One is that they're going to start with Roswell. They're just going to say Roswell was real. Roswell happened. We told you some lies. Sorry, but those people are all long dead and gone. Here are some pictures. Here are some documents, and have a nice day. But that's not enough, right? Because as soon as you open that can of worms, then the question becomes, okay, well, what did you do with all the stuff that you got from Roswell? Where did it go? And then you have to say, well, what about Colonel Phil Corso? Colonel Corso is the Army officer who was tasked with taking the wreckage recovered from the Roswell crash and distributing it to American corporations. and basically launching what we know of now today as the program to reverse engineer recovered alien technology. And according to Colonel Corso, and as is kind of explained in the book, The Day After Roswell, and subsequent interviews with his son, Corso said he went from company to company with bits and pieces of this technology, and they inserted it into existing research programs. That is key. When you look at Colonel Corso's story, one of the things people will point out, they'll go, oh, well, all this technology was already in development. We didn't get this stuff from aliens. Corso is talking about fiber optics, microprocessors, lasers, Kevlar body armor, high tensile strength fibers, metamaterials, supermaterials. These types of things were brought, they were leapfrogged by generations because of the addition of some of this advanced technology into these existing research programs. So it's not that we got it from aliens. It's that we got ideas from the aliens about how to make the things we were already making better. And that gave us a century where we made so much progress that it feels like 1,000 years of progress. I mean, look at what happened since the Wright brothers first took flight to today, right? We've done that in a century. So that's amazing. According to Corso, his account, the deal with these companies was they could keep the patents off of everything that they created from this technology, researching it, but they had to pass the technology along for the competitive benefit of the Army first. And then they could keep whatever they derive from the technology. And that might be where things go really, really wrong in the past and start to take a weird turn. Because today the situation is private aerospace companies basically administer their own recovery programs. And a lot of the stuff that's happening is happening inside this, behind this corporate veil, right? Inside these private companies who have had decades with this technology. Now, there is an ongoing program, and UAP Gerb is really locked in on this, and he has probably the best information of anyone out there on who is involved in that program. What are they doing? How are they doing it? It involves the CIA Office of Special Access. There is a shoot-down program administered by the CIA. Lockheed Martin has their own recovery program. Northrop Grumman probably does. Probably all of the aerospace companies, I imagine. So there's government shoot-downs and recoveries, and then there are private shoot-downs and recoveries happening separate from the government, probably without the government's knowledge. As a matter of fact, there's one really weird rumored story, legend, little piece of lore about this thing known as the Lockheed Firefight, where a craft was detected going down somewhere in the American Southwest. An American military retrieval team was sent out to secure that area. When they arrived on site, they found private mercenaries were already there. Another security team of highly trained special forces, high-speed dudes were there recovering the craft. But they were not from the American government. They were from a private company. In this case, according to the legend, Lockheed Martin. This didn't happen that long ago, according to the source. And a firefight ensued, and some people lost their lives. If that's true, then we don't have just one program. We have many programs. And these programs are not tied together by a common thread. So they're off in their own separate things. So the question I'm asking here is, if the government does disclose and they open that can of worms, as soon as you do that, you are now opening up an entire conversation about who knew what, when did they know it, where did this technology go, which companies got it, because those companies got a leapfrog advantage over all of their competitors. So then if their competitors are out there finding out about this, the question becomes, do they have a legal basis to file a lawsuit against the federal government for basically giving their competition an unfair advantage? I don't know. I'm not a legal expert, but I would imagine that the shareholders of these private corporations would have many questions about how that market, how that space has been manipulated and artificially sort of influenced by this covert technology reverse engineering program that's been going on behind the scenes for all these years. So when you open up that can of worms, now we start getting into litigation, and you have companies suing the government, probably suing each other. Maybe some kind of discovery process starts to reveal other things that we didn't know, and suddenly you have a situation where what looked to be maybe a cut and dry type of a disclosure, we're just going to publish some stuff on our website, tell the people, turns into a multi-administration long legal battle that plays out for years. I don't know. That seems like the catastrophe of a catastrophic sort of tipping over of dominoes that would happen, right? This domino effect of just saying, yes, it's real. We were officially putting it on a government website. We've crossed the Rubicon, though. I mean, from here on out, it can never be ignored. It can never be laughed off again. You can't. This question will be asked at a presidential debate. I'm convinced in the next presidential series of presidential debates in our next election cycle, if we make it that far, they will bring this up. It will be answered in a serious way. Candidates will have to weigh in on this. They're going to have a policy position on NHI, UAPs, disclosure, reporting, tracking, assessment. What is the threat, if any? We know that the NATO alliance has done their own studies on this, according to people like Robert Dean, as far back as the 1960s. So the information that is out there is now old information. And I want to know, what is the most current information? That's what I'm curious about. So how many different types of races are we dealing with? Are we dealing with 1, 10, 20, 12, 4? Who knows? We hear different numbers depending on who you talk to. Eric Davis, short grays, tall grays, reptilians, and Nordics, and mantids, I think. I think he said those. And that's astrophysicist Eric Davis telling us. Robert Dean said there were at least 4 different kinds, and one of the kinds looked just like us. This is my big question. Over the decades, we've been told by various different people and whistleblowers and people in positions to know that there is, of all the different aliens out there that we deal with, apparently, one particular group, at least one, looks just like us. You could sit next to one on an airplane or in a restaurant, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. But they are extremely telepathic, and they have the ability to go into a room full of people and listen to your thoughts, influence how people behave, influence how they act, what they think, what they feel, how they perceive events. This cognitive sort of interface that was alluded to in the famous Slide 9 that was leaked from that briefing way back when, years ago. I talk about this. So we get into a can of worms here, and that I don't see how you can put them all back in the can. You know, once you go down this road, you are opening the floodgates, and there are going to be legal ramifications for some people involved in this. That's a huge question, outstanding. And then, and before we even get to that, you know, the question is, how serious is this? Is it? I mean, are they really going to do it? My thinking a few weeks ago was they are going to disclose aliens to take the heat off of the Epstein thing, because they really want to get people talking about something else. Just don't talk about Epstein, because everybody on both sides of the aisle is wrapped up in that conspiracy. So Democrats and Republicans definitely don't want us, at least at certain Democrats and Republicans don't want us to go there. Okay. So they tease the alien thing, and people focus on that for a week. But now we're in at war with Iran, and the price of oil is going up, and things are getting kind of hairy over there. There's no way this conflict is going to wrap up anytime soon. Just no fucking way. So we're in this for a while. Now they want to take the heat off of that. So maybe they're fast tracking the disclosure conversation so that we stop talking about Iran for a few minutes and focus on something else until the midterms. I don't know, but that's how it feels. That's what it seems like. So where we're at today is definitely way further down the field than we were just a few short years ago. But where it goes next, I'm just going to be sitting here eating popcorn and enjoying the show. But you guys were here first. We were here first. We knew about this before everybody. You guys were on the cutting edge, and everybody else out there who thought we were crazy, is going to look like a fool when this thing is all said and done. We only have to be right once. They have to be right forever. So I want to hear also what Neil deGrasse Tyson has to say about this. It's been very interesting to hear him riff on this. Or maybe not. Maybe he'll just say the same tired old stuff he always says. But I'm interested to see if he responds or reacts to it on his next episode of Star Talk. That would be kind of cool. Just to get an idea. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm really curious about your thoughts. What do you think they would actually disclose? Do you think they're going to give us the goods, or are they just going to give us a little taste? How does it start? Where does it end up? What are the ramifications of this? I want you to tell me what you think. Don't be shy. Get in those comments. Write a paragraph. I read them. I want to know, where your heads are at on this, because that's how I figure out what we're going to talk about on the show. Leave me a comment. Let me know. You can send me an email. You can go to teamnightshift.com, click on make contact, send me an email there if you want. You can also check out our merch if you want to support the show, pick up a cool piece of merch. That always helps. If you want to help us out, you can subscribe. It only takes a second. It doesn't cost a dime, and it really is the best way to help us grow this channel is just subscribe. And if you are nasty and you really, really want to support us and you want to be awesome, you can go to Patreon. You can support us there. You can become a member of the YouTube channel. Click join, become a member. We do a members-only chat on Wednesdays, a members-only live stream. It's a public live stream, but the chat is only for members. And it's us just talking about UFOs for about 2 hours every Wednesday. So that's super fun. But whatever you do, take care of yourselves and each other and keep looking up. See you soon, guys.